Hi, my group will be presenting Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point Plan Development. I'm Xishen Hao, Sports Science Specialist. This is Le Zhiheng, PhD in Food Microbiology. This is Esmanong, Food Nutrition Specialist.
Hi.
Our company is Wrap Everything, and we hope to achieve a reputable name in the food industry. We are equipped with all professionals and all the necessary technology to enable us to compete with all the large food companies so that we can become one of the household brands. Our company has set up a HACCP plan for our beef potato wrap. The objective is to establish a cooking procedure that ensures safe food consumption of our food product. The ingredients are potato, minced beef, mozzarella cheese, olives, and lettuce. Now I'm going to show you how we prepare our food product, which is our potato beef wrap.
Coiling.
After making the food product, beef potato wrap, we wrap the baked potato in lettuce and in the plastic food wrapping. After that, we package the food product in boxes. And next, we transfer the boxes to a cool room for storage before distribution. So moving on to shipping, we load the boxes onto a vehicle with appropriate equipment to maintain a low temperature around 5 to 7 degrees Celsius.
Now I'll be discussing about the hazard analysis. First off, we'll be slicing olive. It contains a physical hazard of metal contamination and is not likely to occur as the knives are usually washed before usage. The next process step will be washing lettuce. It contains a biological hazard of Escherichia coli and Shigella, and is not likely to occur as we usually receive letters of guarantee from the food supplier to ensure food safety. The next step will be the preparing of grated mozzarella cheese. It contains a biological hazard of Salmonella javaana and Salmonella oranienburg. It's not likely to occur as we usually receive letters of guarantee from the supplier. The next step will be the peeling, cutting and oiling of potato. The biological hazard inclusive in here will be Campylobacter jejuni and physical hazard of metal contamination. Both are unlikely to occur as the pathogen will be killed in the boiling and the equipment will be washed before usage. The next process step will be the boiling and toasting of potato. This step consists of a biological hazard of Clostridium botulinum and a physical hazard of metal contamination. However, both are unlikely to occur as the temperature are usually high enough to kill the pathogen. Next step will be the boiling of marinated beef. The biological hazard here will be Salmonella and Escherichia coli 0157H7 and a physical hazard of metal contamination. It is likely to occur for the biological hazard as the possible growth of pathogens due to the incorrect temperature of the boiling water. However, the physical hazard is unlikely to occur as the sieves used for boiling will usually be cleaned before usage. And a preventive measure set aside to counter the likelihood of the biological hazard will be to ensure that the temperature of the boiling water hits 100 degrees Celsius. The next process step will be packaging. In this step, there will be a biological hazard of Salmonella and Escherichia coli 0157H7 for the beef and Campylobacter jejuni and Clostridium botulinum for the potato. There will be no likelihood to occur as the pathogens will be eliminated in the process of cooking unless the food being packed will be raw. The next process step is the storage of finished food product, and this follows the exact same hazard of the packaging, so I'll not be explaining again. The final one will be the shipping of the finished product, and as you can see, there are no hazards here.
After setting up the hazard analysis, we move on to identifying the critical control points. The critical control points are boiling of potato, boiling of marinated minced beef, baking of potato with all the ingredients in the aluminum foil. And next is the critical limits. For the critical limits for the first critical control points is that the temperature of water has to be at least 100 degrees Celsius and the temperature of potato have to be at least 60 degrees Celsius. For the critical limits for the second critical control points is that the temperature of water has to be also 100 degrees Celsius. Lastly, for the critical limits for the last critical control point is that the temperature of oven have to be at least 120 degrees Celsius for at least 6 minutes. So after identifying the critical control points, we came up with a monitoring procedure to oversee that the critical limits are met during the critical control points. For the first critical control point, which is boiling of potato, we will have a cook to measure the temperature of water and temperature of potato using thermometer before cooking. And for the second critical control point, which is boiling of marinated minced beef, the cook will measure the temperature of water using the same thermometer before boiling. Lastly, for the last critical control point, which is the baking of potato with ingredients in the wrapped aluminum foil. And the monitoring procedure is the cook has to measure the temperature of oven and before baking. And this can be done by using a thermometer or as shown on the display of the oven. Now I'll pass the time on to Esmond, which will talk about the corrective actions.
Okay, now I'm gonna talk about the corrective actions. What are the corrective actions? there are actions to be done when the critical limits fail. And as previously mentioned, the three critical control points are boiling of potato, boiling of marinated minced beef, and the baking of potato wrapped with ingredients. And now I'm going to talk about the 5 actions that we should do should the critical limits fail. So number 1 is identifying the cause. Second is to bring the critical control point under control. And thirdly, we are going to prevent deviation from recurring and maintain records thereafter. And lastly, we should not proceed with the product if it's injurious to the health. Now, I'm going to give you all an example. So for one example that I'm going to give you is the first critical control point. So identify cause. So maybe the cause can be like the potato is not given enough time to reach an internal temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. And for the second part of bringing critical control point under control, we maybe should cook the product for a longer time until an internal temperature of 60 degrees Celsius for the potato is being reached. And after which, the third step of preventing deviation from recurring, we should train the area personnel to boil the potato to reach the required temperature as mentioned previously, which 60 degrees Celsius. And fourthly is maintaining records, which is the same throughout for all our 3 critical control points, which is to ensure the area personnel keep a record of the food in each batch used. And after which, the last step, do not proceed with product that is injurious to health. We should always put the product on hold if the product did not reach the required temperature. So what is record keeping? There are appropriate records to be taken down according to the respective steps in the procedure of producing the food. Now, the records that we are supposed to take for the 2 critical control points of boiling potato and boiling marinated minced beef is the same. So the 2 records are, under the ingredients section, is the supplier certification documenting compliance with establishment specifications. And under the preparation part is the cooking log of like the potato and the marinated minced beef. And now I'll talk about the records that we are supposed to keep for the 3rd critical control point of baking the potato. And the 2 records are the preparation records from all monitored critical control points, and under the second one would be, under the preparation section, will be the records verifying the continued adequacy of the food preparation procedures. So what is this verification part? These are activities carried out to ensure that our HACCP plan is working. So what are the activities that we do for our 3 critical control points? For the first two critical control points of boiling potato and boiling the marinated minced beef, the preparation area must be cleaned and maintained, and personnel must be trained to handle boiling, and the critical records that are recorded must be accurate and always maintained. And now I'll move on to the 3rd critical control point on what are the activities that should be done here. So the preparation area likewise should be cleaned and maintained again, and the equipment like the oven, which in this case is used to bake the potato, must be maintained and calibrated correctly. So the personnel in this area must be trained for baking, and the critical records as like the previous 2 critical control points must be accurate and maintained. And now I'll move on to another section of verification of the working HACCP plan, which is the microbiological analysis. Now, for the first critical control point of boiling of potato, what are we supposed to check for? We are supposed to check for the Campylobacter jejuni. And for boiling of our marinated minced beef, which is the second critical control point, we are supposed to check for Salmonella and Escherichia coli 0157H7. And for the microbiological analysis of the 3rd critical control point, which is the baking of potato filled with ingredients, the bacteria that you should check for is Salmonella javanica and Salmonella aureolibus from mozzarella cheese, and the Clostridium botulinum from baked potatoes. And these are the references that we have used on our pictures. And now I'm gonna pass on to Ziheng, which I will assist in concluding the whole thing.
So in this presentation, we have covered the process cooking of our food product and the 7 principles of HACCP Plan. The 7 principles consist of hazard analysis, identifying critical control points, identifying the critical limits for each critical control point, the monitoring plan, the corrective action, the record keeping, and the verification. These 7 principles has helped us in ensuring the food safety.
Now, I'm going to talk about the methods of consumption. Actually, it's pretty simple for our beef potato wrap. So what are you supposed to do? You just simply have to put it into the oven or the microwave oven for a short while for reheating purposes, and you're ready to eat it. So where would this be available at? You'll be available at convenience stores, supermarket. Yes, these are the 2 main places that you'll be available at. And most importantly, is for everyone and everybody.
We have come to an end of our presentation for the HACCP Plan for beef potato wrap. Thank you.